Hey YouTube family, welcome back to Lifted Woman Network. My name is Oliver Nakakande and this is Daily Devotions. Now, today we are going to share another encouraging word about provision, God being the provider. Now, this word is coming in from the book of Exodus chapter 16 and verses 31. I'm going to read from the Amplified Version. The Bible says that the house of Israel called the bread manna. It was like coriander seed, white, and it tasted like flat pastry or wafers made with honey. I'm going to read it again. So the house of Israel called the bread manna. It was like coriander seed, white, and it tasted like flat pastry or wafers made with honey. Okay, so at this point in time, in the lives of the Israelites at this point, they had just, left Egypt because God was, taking them out of the land of slavery onto the promised land. So they were on the journey. We know this story. If you have not read this story, go into the book of Exodus and read about how God was fleeing the Israelites from the land of captivity in Egypt onto the promised land. The journey was not easy. The journey was full of so many tests and trials, and the fact that they were also very complainant. They were complaining all the time. The complaining didn't actually help them at all. It's kind of like elongated the process. And at this point, they had complained a lot about food. When you read at the beginning of this chapter 16, you will see that the Israelites were complaining and they were saying, we wish that God would have left us where we were in Egypt in slavery. We were there eating and drinking. Even though we were slaves, at least we were having food. But now we're in the middle of the desert. So complaining a lot. Honestly, it does not help at all. So, and at this point, because our God is a compassionate God, he was speaking to Moses and he told him that I'm going to provide food for these people. I'm a providing God. I don't let my people just, die off like that. I mean, like God had a plan for the Israelites to take them through the desert onto the promised land because he is the one who had actually got them out of the hands of Pharaoh. But because of the hardened hearts that they had and because of the lack of faith that they had, they were not trusting this plan at all. And I'm talking about the Israelites, but we are now the modern day Israelites. We have been complaining a lot on this journey. We have been hardening our hearts. We don't trust the plan that God has for us. And it's really hard for anything to happen when we're in that kind of situation, complaining and not trusting the plan of God. It doesn't look like is taking us anywhere. It doesn't look like there is a light at the end of the tunnel. It doesn't look like there is going to be a provision on this journey, but God is a providing God. And this word is a reminder and an encouragement that God is a provider. God provides for you even when you find yourself in the middle of the wilderness, in the middle of the desert, when you don't know where you're going, when you don't know what's on the other side, when you don't know where things are going to come from, food or whatever. God says that I got you. I'm going to give you everything that you need. As long as you just stay true to me, listen to me, like I have this planned out. You just have to trust me. So of course they had to do their chores on the journey as they are going ahead, but this is something that God did that was so supernaturally. Imagine bread falling out of heaven, the manna that they called it, and they had never seen anything like this before. That is goes to show that God has the capacity to give you something that you've never even seen, you've never even tasted, you've never imagined. But the Bible says that it tasted like waffles with honey. That means it was sweet and it was white. They had never seen this before, but it had a taste of coriander. I love coriander. So he's a God that pays attention to detail. He knew that they love, it has to taste, it has to, he paid extra attention to detail. It was not something that they had ever seen before. It was sweet. It was like really yummy, but also he provided it in plenty. in the desert. So he is a providing God. Imagine being in the desert, whatever desert situation you might be going through right now, and you're just there looking left, right, center, up, down. You don't see any kind of hope for provision. God says, hold on, I am going to provide for you right there where you are. I think this word really calls for us to have faith in God, the provider, and knowing that if He provided for the Israelites manna in the desert, coming down from heaven in a very supernatural way, he has the same power, because the Bible says that he does not change. He's the same God yesterday, today, and forever. So the same God of the Israelites is our God. He has the same power to provide for us in the situation of the wilderness where we are right now. He does not care if it's dry, if it doesn't look like there is going to be anything that is going to produce fruit. God says that right there where you are is where I'm going to pour out my provision. I'm going to feed you. I'm going to give you something that you have never tasted before. So, this word, I wanted to encourage you. I really wanted to encourage you. And I want you to be reminded that God does the same today. He can provide for you because He cares for you. He has a plan for you. He knows the journey that He has called you to go. And He knows all the trouble and the things that you're going to find on the way. But while we are expectant of His provision, let's do one thing. Let's trust Him and let's not complain, because complaining is going to delay the process. Complaining is going to just mess up everything. I think there is nothing as bad as complaining, because it clearly shows to God that we don't trust you. I don't trust where you're taking us. I don't trust you. Imagine telling, complaining and saying that I wish I went back to slavery because at least there I was eating and drinking. But God said, no, but there is a promised land that is flowing with milk and honey. And that's where I'm taking you. And you're like, really? I don't trust you. So there's nothing like complaining. Like, complaining does not do us any good except just to elongate the process. So I think it's better to just keep quiet, enjoy the process, trust that God knows exactly where He's taking us. And while we're on this journey, He's going to provide for each and every one of us. Now, this word, I really hope that it encourages you. If it has blessed you, please share this video with anyone, whoever that you feel like needs to hear this word. And make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and leave a comment down below. And I'll be sure to see you in the next video. Stay blessed.
Lifted women lift.